So I've just played 18 holes of golf and I've just witnessed one of the best driving performances of any golfer I've ever seen. And this golfer has only been playing golf for 16 months. We're going to find out exactly how she was able to drive the ball like she'd been playing for years. Right, we're back with Kelly Sotherton. Kelly, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We were just trying to discuss when our last video was. I think it was like September last year.
Yeah, it was just at the end of the summer.
So a lot's changed since then.
It has, because I've now got a handicap.
You've got a handicap. So what is your handicap?
It was 35.8 a month ago, now 35.1.
And might be even lower.
Could be slightly lower today, yeah.
So we've just played 18 holes. This is the National Club Golfer Top 100 Tour. We've just played Edgbaston Golf Club. And you played great, didn't you, really? You had a personal best?
I did score, yeah, 114, which is one better than previously. I'm getting better by one shot each round.
And it was windy. We had a downpour of rain. We were first out, a lot of people in the first tee, so really good performance.
And you guys were great, and you made me nervous.
you did great.
Thank you.
So we always plan to do a video after the round, and we hadn't decided what the video was, but after playing with you today, I'm 100% sure what we need to this video on, because you have absolutely just ripped that driver today. I've never seen anybody as new to the game as you are hit that great. I mean, you were hitting it long and straight and consistently, weren't you?
Yeah.
So we're going to find out what you've done to be able to be a really new golfer and hit the driver that well, and then I'm going to give you a little tip which I think can add probably a little bit more consistency to that. So what was the first thing that you kind of figured out? Well, you and your coach Phil, you did some setup things?
Yeah, so one of the key things was I wasn't hinging my wrists at all. And so I would, when I go to drive, and this was with an iron or any shot, I would hinge at my wrist.
Yeah.
And then have a really bent arm.
Yeah.
And then it was just pot luck where that ball went right, left. It was never dead straight.
And you were saying you were hitting a lot out to the right?
It would go straight and then go to the right at the end. And it would be, you know, go 40, 50, 60 yards completely in the opposite direction.
So just take your setup to that golf ball and just if you can remember what it was, show us that kind of bad backswing that you were doing, even though you're trying to forget that, I'm sure. Just
so
show us that.
I would be here and just be out here and then hinge at the wrist.
So you were saying how you were really collapsing this,
Yes.
which made it really narrow here,
Yeah.
and you weren't using these.
Yeah.
Now, if you go back to setup, and me and Phil were talking about this, your wrists, so this movement you've got in here, is basically going to help you, if you can get that correctly, if you can get them to move correctly, it's going to help you control the club face,
Yep.
which will make it go straighter, but it's also a big source of power.
Yes.
So do you feel that you've gained a bit of distance since using those better?
It feels easier, lighter.
Yeah.
We discussed that today. It's made a lot of difference.
So what I would say in coaching, if people don't use the wrists correctly, what happens is, and this is exactly what you were just saying, when they don't use the wrists, you have to create some power from somewhere. So it comes from here, and then you start to break this down, and then it becomes inconsistent. So what was that one drill that you were telling me about that you did that's really helped you?
So what we would do is to learn just to hinge my wrists. I would just practice doing this to lower them and raise. And then when we was going to hit a ball, generally an iron, we would then do that first and then take it back. And it was getting in a slight...
So this is so much better, isn't it?
It's better.
Look how much better that is.
Yeah.
You've got more width, you've got more structure in your arm, and then you're using these.
Finally.
So what I like about that little drill, if you just go back to the start and do that little exercise again where you're just moving the club up, what you're doing there is you're just isolating that movement, which means that you can really clearly get a feel for it.
Yeah.
One of the difficulties of the golf swing is everything's happening and moving, and sometimes it can be hard to actually feel what one certain movement is. So that was great. So would you actually hit balls that way? Or was it more of a feeling?
In practice I would, and because obviously when you first start doing this is what you want to do every time, set yourself up to remind yourself. So you practice shots definitely, and then getting the confidence to maybe just do that, just to reinforce it, and then just practice going back.
Do you want to hit one?
Yeah.
Go for it. It's up to you whether you want to do that little drill or whether you just want to.
No, I'm quite confident. I don't need to, but you know, for the video, so I just.
Yeah, really good. Really good. Okay. So that was you know, getting the wrist involved, hinging better.
Yeah.
What about setup? Was there anything you did in setup to, I'll tee another ball up for you, but was there anything you did sort of before the swing to help?
Yeah, so I used to be in a very squat position to protect my back before I'd be over, but now I was sitting into it too much. So coach just said, straighten your legs a little bit and, you know, slightly more weight on the left side.
Yeah. So if you want to get yourself set up to that golf ball, So me and Phil were talking about this in the course, and he said exactly that. You were tending to sit a little bit into the golf ball. So if I was to grab a club, if you stay there, what you've got now is that the back of your arms fall in front of your knees. Okay, so do you remember where you were? I'm trying to get you into those bad positions. There we go.
Oh,
so now, if you look at the back of your shoulders, kind of behind your knees.
Yeah.
So the viewers watching this, if you go back to your good position, that's our little checkpoint, is that the back of the shoulders are in front of the knees through the balls of the feet. And you know, certainly if you're going to try and move that golf club at speed around your body, it's hard to do that from here. You know, it kind of limits what you can do, and then you have to get very armsy. So let's go ahead and hit another one. So I want to say is good setup, hinge in the wrists, and give it a hit. Very good. Yeah, really good. Really good. Right, one more, and then I'm going to give you something which I think might be able to help. Probably should have said this before we played golf, but you've hit it great today, so. Ah, amazing. Really good. Really good. Super. Okay, so if you think about the drives that you hit today, there weren't many bad ones. There was the odd one, but not many. But if you think about the trajectory, it's hard to get the ball to sit on there, isn't it? What would you say about the trajectory of your drives? Would you say that they were sometimes too high or sometimes too low?
Usually it's high.
Exactly.
I'd probably hit 200 in the air, not forward.
Exactly. And that was the thing that I noticed. You hit a lot of drives, but you did hit the odd one that went pretty high. So if you take your address to that golf ball, okay, so take your setup and, yeah, it's not going to fall off there, is it? Okay. So I'm just going to grab a golf club again. So what I'd love you to do is, if you imagine where your back foot is, just inside your back foot, and if you imagine a line coming up from there, your right shoulder is going to be roughly in line with that. Okay. What I want you to try and do, if you place the club across your shoulders for a minute, so that's it, and get yourself kind of into posture, as if you're going to set up driver, I want you, as you make a backswing, to try and get the grip of the club to make contact with this. So as you make a backswing turn, that's it, you're going to get this over here, perfect. Okay. Now I want you to feel that this shoulder is getting over the inside of this foot. There we go. Okay. Because one of the things I noticed on the course, if I turn to the camera, and I think this is a little bit because you were really focusing on those wrists, you were doing a lot of great work with the hands and arms, but in terms of the driver, I don't think you were getting behind the golf ball enough. And what that meant is the golf club was kind of going a little bit under the ball, and that was what was causing them to pop up a little bit. So if you took a setup to that golf ball, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is going to move the ball a fraction further forward. Okay, there we go. And all I want you to do is I want you to try and make this shoulder hit my grip. So you just do me a backswing and stop. Beautiful. So you can still do your wrists, you can still use those wrists, but I'm trying to get this shoulder more behind the golf ball. There you go, perfect.
Oh gosh.
Okay, yeah, using different muscles.
Well, you can feel the stretch,
Okay, right, we've got a few people in front of us, so we're going to do a couple more rehearsals, and then I'm going to get to hit one. So same wrists, but shoulder to my club. Beautiful, really good. Okay, you should start to feel more weight or more kind of pressure through this foot, and it'll feel like you're more behind it, which is absolutely fine. Another practice. Beautiful, good. Okay. Ready to hit one? Yeah. Okay, go out of the way, that's fine. Okay, so try and feel shoulder into this space here, and then give it a hit. Wow. That was awesome.
We were a little bit to the left, but yeah, awesome. It actually felt so much easier.
That was really good. That was really good. So there's two things there. Number one, I had you play the ball a little bit further forward in your stance. Yeah. If I can get the tee in the ground. So let's do that. So what I would do for you just for a couple of shots is I'll probably just give you a little reference, yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to grab myself another club. And then same thing, just do one rehearsal. Let's get the shoulder to hit this grip. Beautiful, good. And then just go ahead and give it a hit. Okay, right here, good. But you hit the ground slightly before the ball there.
Yes.
Which is a good sign, because the reason you were hitting the high ones on the course is because the club was coming down too steep, and it was more likely to hit the ground after the ball. Yes. Whereas we're trying to get the bottom of the swing to happen earlier, which is a good sign. So that was pretty close, that was. Okay, good. Perfect, excellent. Right, left shoulder behind it. Give it a good hit. Really good. Now that's kind of more the trajectory I'd want you to see, because that's going to give you, you know, probably as good, if not more, carry distance, but you're also going to get the benefit of a little bit of roll on those. It'll take away those really high ones that you were hitting on the course.
I hope so.
Okay, perfect. Okay, left shoulder behind it and give it a hit. Oh, that's the one we want.
That was all right.
That's really good. That's awesome. How's that feel?
Yeah, that actually felt a lot like when you hit it, you could feel there was a bit more power. I generally don't feel power, hence why I think I needed to sit into it and squat into it to hit it, because I thought that's where I was going to generate power.
Right, we've got 2 more. See if we can do better than that, but that was awesome. That was really good. Okay, perfect, excellent. Left shoulder behind it. Give it a hit. Okay, lucky, that's fine. Okay, finish on a good one. Yeah, really good. Again, those are power though, and a much better ball flight. It's gone a little left, but on the course, that's fine because it's gone a good distance and it's down there. But that will definitely take away that high one. So if anyone's watching this and they get that high drive that kind of goes straight but not as far, it's normally because the club head is coming downwards into the ball. And all we did there was, if you swinging around your body on a big circle, by getting you a little bit more behind it, we made the club bottom out before the ball and then kind of sweep up on it, which is where we're getting that better ball flight from. So listen, if you want to drive better, you need to learn from Kelly because she's just absolutely ripped it on the course today. Key things for you really, making sure the setup was good. Standing to the ball is super important. Your wrists, really hard to hit good drives if these aren't working because like we said, it's always going to then start to break down from the arms. And then the thing that we did together was with the driver specifically, because we want to hit on the way up, is just to really get that shoulder behind the golf ball. And I think if you do those things, then it's great. And next time we see you, who knows what handicap you might be off.
Hopefully a lot less than I am now.
Yeah, because I reckon today, well, they were saying today you might get dropped a little bit.
Yeah.
And where do you feel that you can improve today? Because there was a few holes today where you maybe could have had a few less shots.
My short game needs a little bit of more attention. I can get onto the green, but I probably wasted some shots. And also that middle shot from the drive to there, because sometimes I waste 2 or 3 shots because I've duff a shot.
Yeah.
So
You're still, what, less than 2 years in?
Overall, including COVID, it's probably, I've been playing for about 16 months.
Yeah, so I mean, some of those drives are phenomenal from playing 16 months, so really excited to see where it can go.
Okay.
Right, thank you for watching. Thank you, Kelly, for your time. Enjoyable to play with you today, and really hope those tips help you if you're struggling with your driver.